Hi, I'm Cheryl Chapman and welcome to the Live, Love, Laugh Lives, where I meet some amazing, incredible souls who are being human beings at this moment in time. And they're going to share with us how they live, how they love, what their passions are, and sometimes, occasionally, we have a bit of a laugh as well. And so here is my guest for today, and she is... Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Amy Sinacola, and I'm a wellbeing and success coach.
Brilliant. And so, Amy, you have a passion for what? Oh, hang on a minute, that might not be a really good question. I mean, in terms of business, what do you have a passion for?
I have a passion for really making a difference in other people's lives and helping other people kind of feel just like life is something worth living and that they've just got to grab it with both hands and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, great. And I know in talks that you've given before, you talk about when you were 7 years old, you kind of had an idea of who you were going to be, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I wrote in a book that when I grew up, I was going to be a nurse and a horse racer.
Brilliant. And so you turned out to be a jockey when?
Well, no, I didn't quite have the right physique for jockeying or the right technique even to be very good on a horse. So that never came to anything. But I did manage to become a nurse. Yeah.
Yeah. And how long were you a nurse for?
Oh gosh, years and years. I suppose I started training when I was 19, and I left my nursing job age 42, 43, something like that, for quite a long time. Yeah, over 20 years, isn't it? Yeah.
And what were the things that you loved about being a nurse, and what were the things that weren't so good?
I loved the patients. That's what it's about, isn't it? So I loved meeting. You just never really get a chance in life to meet such a different range of people because you surround yourself really with people who are just a bit like you. So, you know, you just see everything, the raw end of life, and you meet so many different people. So that's really interesting, and it's a real privilege to get to know people, to be able to help people, and you really build some strong bonds and friendships. And there's people that, you know, I'll never ever forget in my life. Some of the people I've had the privilege of looking after, and hopefully as well, you know, they'll never forget me.
Yeah. And then the downside, I think, is probably quite obvious, because if I remember rightly, you worked in cancer wards as well as other areas, intensive care, etc., didn't you? So
yeah, I never kind of chose the easy route in nursing. I always seemed to choose the specialities, which were high drama. And I don't really know to this day why that was. I must have liked something about it. But yeah, it's not an easy job. Obviously, you witness a lot, you see a lot, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of pressure, there's never enough time to do everything you want to do. You know, and people are really kind of going through the worst of times, and you just want to try and make that a little bit better for them. But sometimes it's just not possible because you can't fix everything and everyone. Yeah. And that's hard.
Yeah, I suppose you have to get that kind of like understanding if you're going to do a role like that. And I know that, you know, obviously one of the names for nurses are angels. Yeah. And I know that you've got some fantastic stories about that. I'm not going to actually ask you about those because I think people might want to go and listen to your story at some stage if they haven't already. But obviously you're not in nursing now, but all those skills that you got from nursing have helped you to now become a coach and lead other people. What is it that you're doing right now to help people?
So it's funny because I left nursing after I discovered coaching, and coaching made a huge impact in how I did my job. But what I found that was other people were coming to me to really help them deal with the pressure in their own lives. It's like I'd sorted out the pressure in my life, and now I've got clients coming to me, and you know, all sorts of people, from business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, parents, generally kind of high achieving people, who describe it a bit like, you know, feeling like they feel like a pressure cooker about to go off. And they know that they need to make some changes in their life, but they just don't really know how. So, you know, I can use all that experience, obviously, of my own experience of working in a very high-pressured environment, and using really everything that I've learned and seen through watching people go through the toughest of times. And, you know, I'm a real nerdy geek, and my bedtime reading is usually some sort of positive psychology book or coaching manual or self-development book. So, you know, I use all that kind of information and research to help my clients find a different way so that they can enjoy their life.
Yeah. Which has got the link between what you were doing, you know, with patients, maybe not the ones that were coming to the end of their life, but certainly, you know, people who've come to the end of their tether, maybe, in their roles. I know someone used to say to me, well, you know, well, I'm a speaker, so why would I come to you? And I'm like, because you can never really look at yourself, and it's the same with coaching, isn't it? You know, I always say you can be the world's greatest appendix remover, but would you really actually take your own out? It's going to be a bit messy, and it's probably going to be a bit more painful than if you get somebody else in, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so how do you help your clients? Do you help them online? Do you help them face to face? What's the
well,
way?
obviously at the moment it's all online. So I do a mix of one-to-ones, and also I run a group program. Yeah. And I think, you know, this has really come from helping people kind of facing the end of their life. And I've met some really inspirational people that have shown me how much pleasure and joy there can be even when things feel kind of helpless and hopeless, and that if you can grasp onto those things, then you can almost face anything. Yeah.
It's really lovely. And I know you talk about how people think, you know, people in the NHS or people in business, you know, entrepreneurs, sometimes people think everybody's got to be a superhero. I know you talk about that a lot, but you've got a nice little twist on that because you think that people should be what's your...
Yeah, I say, you know, we put ourselves under a lot of pressure trying to be a superhero in our own lives, and that if we can let go of that superhero analogy and maybe use some of it because it is useful, but actually we're all just humans trying to be super. Yeah.
And enjoy our lives.
Yeah, and enjoy our lives, yeah.
So we know why we know how you live, and we know why you love what you do, and obviously you're moving that into a different genre now, or you have been for the last few years. I mean, you've been on Psychologies today, haven't you? You know, I know that you were saying that you were teaching people in university situations, so you're obviously like really loving that and growing that as well. Yeah. And so what makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? Oh, my kids. My kids make me laugh.
You've got 2 girls.
I've got 2 girls, yeah. And you just can't be too serious, can you, with them around? You know, there's always lots of fart jokes and always reference to poo. I don't know why, they love talking about poo, so that's fine. You know, I'm an ex-nurse, so I came from a place where I could more or less kind of wipe someone's bottom with one hand and eat a sandwich with the other. So poo jokes and any reference to poo is absolutely fine. So the kids love that. They love dancing. We love making up dance routines. Just being daft. Just the other day, we were all kind of dancing around the living room. I think I had the big, massive kind of pepper pot, and we were singing and dancing. So yeah, you just can't take yourself too seriously, really, can you? No.
That's kind of multitasking now.
Yeah, I don't recommend. I don't recommend it for infection control purposes. Yeah.
And I also ask my guests to bring something in that you know, that is something that is memorable to them. So
yeah. Well, I brought this jumper. Now it doesn't look a very exciting jumper, kind of, you know, greeny with old man kind of leather things. Yeah. But I love wearing this jumper. This is my dad's jumper. And this, again, is part of really why I do what I do. My dad was an amazing man, and he came from a kind of council estate background and became a real self-made businessman. He had no fear, you know. He wasn't afraid of upsetting people or offending people. Sometimes to his detriment, I have to say. Like the lady in the changing room, who he once asked if she was pregnant. She wasn't, no. Yeah. But he really had no fear. He went after what he wanted. He didn't always get it, but he didn't let that hold him back. So he's a really inspirational man. And again, it comes back to just kind of grasping every day for what it is, because unfortunately he died very suddenly, age 69. Very fit, very well, and he was poorly with flu, and it turned into a nasty infection in his arm. And he went from recovering from flu to in intensive care and dead within the space of 24, 48 hours. Wow. So it's just, you know, the real lesson really hit home about how life can just shift and change, and your rug can be pulled from under your feet at any moment. And we think we're in control, but we're not. So we really just do have to make the most of what we've got and live life as we want to live it.
Yeah. And so we need to live, love and laugh.
So we need to live, love and laugh every day. Exactly. Yeah.
Amy, thank you so much. I do like to give a little gift to my guests as well. And so it seems quite poignant because, interestingly enough, I couldn't find a superwoman or a cat woman or whatever they're called, but I could find a little Spider-Man. So
oh, yeah.
The superhero.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thank you. I'll put that in my car. Yeah, the kids will like that. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Live Love Laugh Lives again, and we look forward to seeing you soon from myself and Amy. Goodbye.